Hello again and welcome to the Warhammer 40k Imperial Guard video. In today's video guys we're going to be going through my first impressions of the Imperial Guard points changes from Chapter Approved 2019. Now it looks like Imperial Guard have had some changes, but that overall these are, from a competitive point of view, more minor annoyances. So Guard haven't received a huge nerf in Chapter 2019, which is, I'm sure we can all breathe a deep sigh of relief there. There have been some interesting changes, some which I think are pants on head silly, some which I think are appropriate, and there are some things which have stayed the same, which is good. First thing I'm going to say straight out the bat, because I know many of you may know this already, but I'm going to confirm it now. It looks like Imperial Guardsmen have stayed at 4 points per model. Fantastic. Every time an FAQ or Chapter Approved or some sort of update comes out, the internet rumour mill starts going mad about 5-point Imperial Guardsmen. Now, what it looks like so far, fingers crossed, Guardsmen have stayed at 4 points per model. That is a really, really big deal. Okay, because if you change Guardsmen, it really just chops the legs out from underneath the army. It's too late in the day to be changing that. They need to stay at that. It's too fundamental. So that's good. Another thing that a lot of people were concerned about were tank commanders going to get a points change. There was a rumour going around that tank commanders were going to go up by 20 points. And from what I can see, tank commanders have stayed the same points. Okay, so those are the two that a lot of people are really concerned about, because tank commanders and Imperial Guardsmen are just a staple of the Imperial Guard Ashes Militarum. They are the staple, and if you screwed with either of those units, you'd be chopping the legs out from underneath the army. At the moment, Imperial Guard, a lot of people like to see us as quite competitive. We are, I would say, we are pretty competitive, but we have a few crutches, and at the moment, Games Workshop, every FAQ has sort of, on every chapter previously, has sort of kicked one of these crutches out from underneath us, and another one of those crutches has gone, guys, and we'll be talking about that in a moment. But yeah, we're still back. We're still stood upright. We're still stood upright, and that's the important thing for us mono guard competitive players. So let's go through some of the changes. Now, I'm going to try and cover all the important ones. There may be one or two that I miss, but let's go through the main big ones. So in terms of the big ones, Astropaths have come down by 11 points. So what that means, guys, is they've gone down to their original Codex points costs, which is good. You know, it's what they should be. It's just ridiculous that they got put up to such a high price. So yeah, they're back down to 15 points, which is great. I think the reason for this is because Astropaths, they got brought up. I don't know. To be honest, I don't know why they got brought up. I think it's because people were taking them over Primaris Psychers, so they put them up, but then no one was really taking Primaris Psychers anyway, so they stayed with the Astropaths. To be honest, you're taking Astropaths mainly for their ability to ignore cover and for Night Shroud, and if you've got a Bulgan Star, you're also looking at taking Psychic Barrier. Those are all still good things, but now, you know, ignore cover isn't as big a deal as it used to be. It's still important, but Space Marines get it for free on Imperial Fist, for example, all the time. So I think, yeah, Astropaths, they didn't need to stay that price anymore. So that's good. They've come down to the original price. I am concerned that it was a misprint, and they are going to get put back up to 26 points, because I feel like someone's just copied the Codex entry over. But okay, but I'm hoping that's not the case. Another big winner is the Lehman Russ battle tank. Now, I've been saying for a while now that the Lehman Russ is slowly but surely starting to become obsolete. It just doesn't. It's a decent unit, but the fact it only hits up to 4+ means that its damage, its wallop really isn't that impressive. you know, your tank commanders or bus essentially. Now, with it coming down by 15 points, I think it probably is now pretty spammable. To be honest, you can take these things in squadrons. You can take pseudo tank commanders by using the Destroyer stratagem for +1 to hit, or for overlapping fields of fire if you're Cadian. So they are now pretty good. They do require a little bit of support, but they are pretty good. Minus 15 points is a big one. I think that was because I did a video a while ago pointing out that you're better off taking air power over Lehman Russes. You're better off taking, you know, in many circumstances, you're better off taking that Valkyrie because it puts out the same amount of firepower when in hover mode, but can also transport guys and do some other shenanigans. So now that they're minus 15 points, I feel like the Lehman Russes, you know, has kicked the Valkyrie in the nuts and has taken back its place as the rightful heavy or rightful support choice in the guard, which is good. It is good. It'll be interesting to see if Lehman Russ spam becomes a thing. I think now the basic, if I just use my cogitator here, the basic Lehman Russ is 107 points plus 22 for the battle cannon plus 8 for the heavy bolter. The basic Lehman Russ is now the same points cost as a semi tricked out Valkyrie. Okay, so the Valkyrie's got 2 heavy bolters, 2 rocket pods, and a multi-laser. So a lot of anti-infantry stuff. It's got 5 guns, which it can hit on 3s if it goes into hover mode with, for 137 points. And it's got the transport capacity, but it, you know, has 1 less toughness but 2 more wounds than a Rust. The Rust now has, you know, if you count the battle cannon firing twice, there's like 2 guns. The Rust now has like 3 guns. It's got the heavy bolter and the battle cannon firing twice. But it hits harder. So they are about what those 2 units should be about the same, because one puts out more light shots, one puts out less but more powerful shots. And then yeah, one has higher toughness, one has transport capacity. So I think those units should be equal, and now they are. That's actually a really positive move. Another huge winner, cannot be understated, is Scions coming down by 2 points. Defensive Scions coming by 2 points is unbelievably a big deal. They are truly spammable now. They, for all of you guys out there who wanted to have your Carapace veterans back, you've now got them back. That's how I would see this. For all of you guys out there who wanted to have Carapace veterans, you've got them. You've got them. Considering that it's, you know, Scion is essentially a veteran and you pay 2 points to give that guy Carapace armor, that's pretty good. But you could almost see this as you pay 1 point to give the veteran Carapace armor and 1 point to give the veteran a hotshot lasgun. That's almost how you can compare this. That's pretty good. And then don't forget, now these guys can deep strike in. You know, that's pretty massive. Science coming down by 2 points. Don't look. I'm not gonna say this for sure, but I mean, could we see the start of competitive Science? I think so. I think competitive Science could very much be in there. Yeah, that's mad. That's absolutely mad. Coming out from, you know, they were originally 10 points at the start of 8th edition, with if you included the 1 point for the hotshot lasgun. Now they're minus. Now they got that for free, and then they're 7 points. Wow, I mean, they're now the cheapest guard troop choice. Think about that for a second. They are the cheapest guard troop choice. The Loyal 32 just got cheaper, potentially. Yeah, I'm thinking, did the Loyal 32 or Loyal 32 is 180, and this is, because you've got to take it, well, 185 if you're going pure Tempesta, because it's 40 points for a Rod of Command, for 40 points for Tempesta Prime. But what if you went 3 Tempest Scion units and 2 Lord Commissars, 175 points. There you go, you've got your 2 Lord Commissars and you've got your 3 Tempesta units. You've now got a loyal 17. I don't know what you'd call it, the Elite 17. Rambo 17. I'm trying to think of a cool name for it. You know, put some comments down below what you think would be a good name for a cheap Scion CP battalion. I mean, I'm thinking the Rambo 17. That sounds cool to me. Rambo 17 or something like that. Or people have got like the Rusty 17. I'm thinking the Rambo 17 is pretty good. The Elite 17, the Dream 17, Dream Team 17. I'm not sure how you'd go for it. But yeah, the Rambo 17, that's what we'll call it, is now the cheapest way for you to get a battalion if you instead of the Loyal 32. So that's pretty good. And you can drop those guys in. Interesting. Yeah, but outside of that, looking at pure Scions, yeah, that does offset the points costs because for your Torch Primes. I mean, that is huge. I mean, put it this way, okay? As I was going to run my Assault Brigade, where I was going to take 60 Deathcore Creed Grenadiers, I now might as well run that as Tempesta Scions, because they're 1 point cheaper, but could take 4 special weapons in a 10-man squad. That's it's mad. It's mad. I mean, yeah, it's huge. I mean, 7 times 10. The plasma guns are 11 points each. I mean, it's 70 points, guys. It's 70 points for 10 Scions. That is mad. You get those guys hopping out of a Chimera, because they can get in a Chimera. They don't need... Think about this, right? This is mad, and we are very much going down the rabbit hole on one thing, and then there are a lot more other things to talk about. But think about this: you can put Scions in a Chimera. There's nothing stopping you from putting Scions in a Chimera. That's absolutely fine. The Chimera gets a regiment trait. I mean, if you mix and match battalions and forces, you can have all your Scions in a Scion detachment, right? 60 Scions in a detachment. It's not that much. And you can stick them all in Chimeras. You know, from one of the other battalions. I don't know, like Talan Chimeras, for example. They're quite good, from what I've been told. And yeah, and then you've got 3 Tempesta Primes in there. You know, you've got a platoon, you've got 2 Chimeras, 20 Scions, Tempesta Prime. You repeat that 3 times. You don't need to repeat it 3 times, but you get what I'm saying. You maybe just take a battalion, but the point is you drive that forward, and then you jump out in rapid fire range with your hotshot las guns, and it's not even that expensive. I mean, it's 70 times 6. It's 420 points. Pretty sure 420. Pretty sure Games Workshop was high when they lowered Sam's points by 2 because they didn't see the explanation. That's mad. 420 points, and you just need the cheapest transports you can get your hands on. You know who? Oh man. You know who might be winning big out of this one? Oh shit, son! This has only just hit me. Genestealer Cult. Jesus H Christ. Genestealer H Christ. Genestealer Cult are going to benefit from this. This is an unforeseen boon for Genestealer Cult because your neophytes are 5 points. So hello. You can take a neophyte, or for 2 points, you can give him a 4+ save and a frigging hot shot las gun. Does that and you know you can order him to have 2 shots. Does that sound good? Yeah, that sounds pretty good for Genestealer Cult, doesn't it? Man, that's insane. Yeah, I'm interested. Maybe it's not a big deal for Genestealer Cult. They can already deep strike, I suppose, but it does seem like a pretty big boost for the old culty boys. I'm getting a real cult vibe, you know. But in general, this is a huge boost for Scions, and I will be looking forward to maybe running my Scions at a tournament next year. That'll be good. Let's move on. Another big win. Las cannons and missile launchers have come down by 5 points. Woo, mama. Ho, ho, ho. That is a big one. That is huge. A missile launcher is now 10 points, guys. 10 points. It started off 8th edition at 20. And it has relentlessly, slowly but surely, come down to 10 points. That is fantastic. And let me tell you, that is a very clever decision by Games Workshop. Because a lot of, guard players were already paying 5 points less than a Marine for the weapon. And then Marines got, Devastator Doctrine. So they were like, well, I guess guard, the guard missile launcher isn't as good. Just bringing it down by 5 points. Fantastic, guys. And las cannons being 15 points. That is insane. They have never been that cheap. I shit you not. They have never been that cheap. Even in friggin' 7th edition, they were still like 20, 25 points. Now they're 15 points. Huge. Huge. I swear to God, someone at Games Workshop was watching these friggin' videos. I tell you why. Because I was saying, what do I bloody say? Oh yeah, no point in paying for your las cannon now. Guess what? You can get 2 autocannons, spam autocannons. And Games Workshop goes, ha! No, let's make that video invalid pretty bloody quickly. Now you can get a las cannon for 15 points. Holy shit. I mean, we're not just talking about this from infantry squad's point of view, guys. Think about the Valkyrie now. Valkyrie now, it's 10 points to upgrade your mandatory multi-laser to a las cannon. It's 147 points for a Valkyrie. That's worth it. Think of all your tank commanders. All those tank commanders where you thought, nah, you know what? I'll stick with the heavy bolter. Put the las cannon on, dude. You're spending 7 points. It's a 7-point upgrade. It's the cheapest las cannon in the game on a Lehman Russ tank commander, because you had to spend 8 points on the heavy bolter. So that's kind of like that is just a base cost, because it's mandatory. It's not a choice. It's mandatory. If I do like this line of thinking, because people, if you look at an infantry squad, that infantry squad has to spend 15 points to get a las cannon. And Lehman Russ does not have to spend 15 points to get a las cannon. Lehman Russ has to spend 7 points to get a las cannon, because it was already paying 8 points mandatory for that heavy bolter. Same with the Valkyrie. So now the cheapest las cannon in the game is on Lehman Russ, because the cheapest las cannon in the game now is a 7-point upgrade. You'd be mad not to put las cannons on all your tanks now. You'd be mad. I mean, it's just worth it. It's just so worth it. Missile launchers coming out to 10 points is huge. I'm going to be spamming those. I already was enjoying I was already enjoying missile launchers, to be honest, because I like crack missiles. I think they were already a cheap, decent alternative, and I like crack missiles because they're realistic, in inverted commas, because obviously 40k is not that realistic. But missile launchers are always a good realist choice, because they are a common weapon in the Imperium of Man. Las cannons are also pretty common because, las technology is prolific throughout the Imperial Guard. But missile launchers are the staple anti-tank weapon of many Imperial Guard regiments. Many, many, many. It's basic technology, variety of rounds. Every Guard book that you read, someone somewhere is using a bloody missile launcher. Cypher's K, Gaunt's Ghost. Someone somewhere is using a missile launcher. And it's fantastic that is now representative. Now, just think about this for a moment, guys. A Imperial Guard squad with a grenade launcher and a missile launcher is now 53 points. That is insane. At the beginning of 8th edition, it was 65 points. That is insane. And they were still a good choice then. Foot veterans with missile launchers and grenade launchers now will run you at a whopping 69 points. That's the thing. That number alone is reason to run them. So, absolutely fantastic. Now, the other big winners are the super heavies. Okay, super heavies. The Bane Blade, the Bane Hammer, and the Bane Sword all went down by 40 points. And I believe if I can get my... oh, bloody hell, where am I? If I can get my screen up here... where's the Bane Blade? I believe... Yeah, 350 points for Bane Blade now, guys. That is... Ooh, that is pretty good. That is pretty good. I believe the other ones went down by about 20 points each. I believe. So, but the Bane Blade coming down by 40 points is huge. It's actually huge. Because you can now run 3 Bane Blades. Easily. Very easily. Now, I don't mean to alarm you. I don't mean to alarm you guys. But I did do, a month or so, well, more than a month ago, 3 months ago, I did float the idea of Baneblade spam. I did float that idea. Where you didn't take 3 Baneblades, you took 4 Baneblades. I floated that idea. It met with mixed success. I'm not gonna lie, it met with some mixed success. But now, I'm really thinking that Guard Super Heavy Spam could be an interesting game. Because I was cramming in 4 Bane Blades and still having room for like a couple of characters. So I think you can now... I don't want to sound crazy, but I think it is now possible to fit in 5 Guard Super Heavies with sponsons at 2k points. I think it's possible. I mean, what's the cheapest one we can get? I think it's the Bane Hammer. I think the Bane Hammer. Although they're all pretty cheap, but what's got the cheapest main cannon? Let's have a look. Bane Hammer cannon. It's going to be around here somewhere. I might come back to it in a moment, but I'm trying to find it quickly. Bane Blade cannon. It won't be called the Bane Hammer cannon, will it? It'll be called something crazy. Well, the Bane Blade cannon. Ooh, the Bane Blade cannon is 0 points, and the basic Bane Blade is 350 points. So you now get. So you've got your twin. Ooh, let's work this out. So your basic Bane Blade is 350 points. But you have to demolish a cannon. Ha! You have to demolish a cannon on the Bane Blade, right? You don't have to demolish a cannon on the Bane Hammer or the Bane Sword. And the Bane Sword's an interesting one because it's got some real anti-tank shit going on there. So let's... And you don't have to take the autocannon either, right? So it's 30 points cheaper now. Ooh. So you do have to take the Twin Heavy Bolter, which is 16 points. And you have to take another Twin Heavy... You know, if you're going for a Bane Hammer with a set of sponsons, you need your 2 sets of Twin Heavy Bolters, right? You need 2 on the side, 1 on the front, so that's 3, and then you need 2 las cannons, which are 20, not 20 points each now, are they? They're 15 fucking points each. So, okay, 428 points, so you can't get 5. 5 of those things is going to run you at 2,140 points. So you can get 4. You can get 4 Bane Swords or Bane Hammers for 1,712 points. So that's interesting to say the least. That is interesting to say the least. Because you can still fit a loyal 32 in there and still have 100 points left over. Wow. Whew. There's going to be some lists coming out there, guys. There's going to be some lists coming out there. I mean, why not just take your basic Bane Hammer? You've got to stick a twin machine gun, a heavy bolt on the front of it. You just take that. You take 5 of those, you get to 1,830 points. That's 5 guard super heavies. And you're not really even taking them for the guns. You're taking them for the close combat just to ram into people. Interesting. Anyway, meme army, but great potential. Great potential. Now let's get on to the losers. Unfortunately, there are some losers. Mortars have gone up by 4 points. That is actually a painful sting. That is a real painful sting. Because now you're paying 12 points more per mortar team. So if you run 3 mortar teams, you now pay 36 more points over the army, which now means you are getting one more. You are spending more than the price of getting a whole extra heavy weapon team to field the same dudes you were fielding. That is a nerf. I feel like I get why Games Watch are doing this. Mortars are the obvious choice, and mortars are fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Do not get me wrong; they were a little good, but they weren't. Well, mortars were a little cheap. I will say that, but they weren't actually that good. You watch the latest battle report between myself and Johnny, right, from Scholar Progenium. I launch a full 2 squads of mortars, which between them get like 15 and like 17 shots, and I only kill 2 fire warriors in cover. Okay, like they were not that good. They were just a harassing annoyance. They were just decent. 4 points makes them like 40% more expensive. If not more. It's a doozy. It's a doozy. I mean, why wouldn't, now the 9 points, why wouldn't you just run missile launchers? I mean, think about it. For 1 point more, your mortars could launch a crack rocket in a pinch. Because they still could shoot the frag, couldn't they? Because they get frag rounds to strength 4. Just think about that for a second. Yeah, I think missile launchers are going to be taking place in mortars. I know the indirect fire is a big thing, but yeah, I think I like crack rockets for 1 point, you know. Anyway, Wyverns went up by 10 points. Weird. Looks like Games Workshop's had a bit of a narc on for guard indirect fire. Although, weirdly, the Basilisk wasn't touched. So the big winner out of all this is the Basilisk, which is already probably our best artillery piece. Games Workshop's just making sure we know it. Fair enough. The Vulture base price, I believe, went up by 25 points. And in relation to that, the Punisher Cannon went up by 10 points now. I mean, again, some of these nerfs are a little late. Like, at the beginning of 8th edition, it was all about the Punisher Cannon, Lehman Russ Tank Commanders. Now, you're too late, Games Workshop. You're too late. No one, well, not no one, but Punisher Tank Commanders were dropping in popularity simply because the Demolisher Cannon was back in business now. And whilst Punisher Cannons were good against hordes, you were seeing a lot less hordes because of you, and you were seeing a lot more Marines. And so you've nerfed the thing that was the meta of like a year ago, and you've improved the thing which is the meta of now. So, I mean, I'm not really complaining. I didn't really use Punisher Cannons because, as I said, I found them actually good on paper, bad in reality. Yeah, bit of a weird one though. Yeah, bit of a weird one. There are some other weird losers, okay, and one of them is, and this picture is related to it, is Ogryns have gone up by 6 points. Okay, now that is a real shame, you know. That is a real shame. Now, I'm not going to say it's a massive nerf for competitive guard play, because it's not. Ogryns weren't a competitive choice. So why the hell did they go up by 6 points? I think it's because I've just been banging on about how cool and fun Ogryns are to use. But if you go and watch any battle report that I've used these things in, and if you go watch any battle report that these big lovable brutes are used in, they're not competitive. They're just fun. They're just fun. And what I've noticed with these points changes is, like, I think some things have just been missed. Which sounds weird, right? Some things have been missed. But, like, astropaths were 15 points in the original codex, and then in a previous chapter proof they got put up to 26. But now, weirdly, they're back down to 15. What? And then Ogryns were 30 points in the codex, and then they went down to like 24 points in a chapter approved, and now they're back up to 30 points. And I know it sounds weird, but there's some other things in there which in chapter approved which has made me think, I think there might be some printing errors in this book. Okay, because someone pointed this out. If you go and look at the Death Watch entry in chapter approved, right? Now I'm gonna pull it up now to make sure that I'm not speaking out my ass. Okay. There we go. If you look at the Death Watch entry in chapter approved, right, and you look at the numbers that must be in required models that are in a squad. Okay, this is very important. So required models in a squad, because Death Watch have a Death Watch kill teams have a mixed. I've got the points up now. Death Watch kill teams have a mixed unit type. So you have veterans in there, plus bikers, plus black shields, plus terminators, plus vanguard veterans. All of those models can be put in one squad. So for those of you that have played Death Watch before, you'll be very familiar with this. But your veterans are your basic marines, which get some cool bolters or cool shotguns. You can then put a biker in there to make the squad be able to like fall back and still charge. You can put a terminator in there to make them fearless. You can put a vanguard veteran in there to make them fall back and still shoot. And the black shield lets you do some crazy heroic interventions. It's like a second sergeant. Now normally you could like take a black shield and you could take a vanguard veteran or a terminator or two. Like you could take but the main bulk of the squad was always veterans, right? Listen to this. Models per unit. Veterans, 3 to 10. That makes sense. That's what it should be. Bikers, 25. So apparently, you must field 25 bikers in a Death Watch kill team. Black Shields, 16. You must field you must field 16 Black Shields. That's not an option. You must field 16 Black Shields. Terminators, you must field 31 Terminators. Vanguard Veterans, you must field 18. It goes 3 to 10, 25, 16, 31, 18. Now, obviously, the 3 to 10 is correct. But obviously, the Bikers, 25, that's the points cost. But it's been put in the models per unit. The Black Shield's been put now. Now, why am I pointing this out? I think that there's some mistakes in this chapter approved. Now, I could be wrong. And maybe we're going to have to live with these changes. But I think that this... And apparently there's loads of there's other random points costs that don't make sense. And like now Stormbolters are like for across the whole Death Watch army are like 2 points, whereas before they weren't, blah, blah, blah. And my point is that I think that what's happened is for a lot of stuff, the chapter approved team has just lifted the points straight from the codex. Like I feel like that's what's happened. The stuff that they didn't really think about, they just lifted the point straight from the codex. So, like, astropaths were probably meant to be at 26 points. I mean, nothing's changed. Why would they come down? There's nothing out there that's making astropaths less good. They're exactly the same. So, why have they come down to 15 points? Yeah, why have Ogryns? Why would they change Ogryns? No one was fielding Ogryns in competitive play. People were only using them in fun games. Why have they gone back to their original codex entry? I mean, I don't know. This is purely a theory, but I do kind of feel like there's a lot of misprints in the chapter approved. From what I've seen, it looks like there's some massive misprints, and I hope that the Ogryn points costs do get adjusted. because they should not be 6 points more. They should not be 30 points. They were barely usable at 24 points model. They were just slabs of meat, but they died, man. They died. I have video evidence of them getting wiped out without killing anything in 2 games. And I have played, I'll probably say I played a dozen games. A dozen games, if not more. Maybe 15. Maybe close, yeah, probably 50. I mean, I played 6 that weekend. I've played 4 there. I've played it between 10 and 15 games. Okay, 10 and 15 games with Ogryns, and in not a single one of their games did they get their points back. And in a single game did they even get close to achieving something good. They never achieved anything. But the point was they were fun. Okay, they were a fun unit. And now they've gone back up to 30 points. It's ridiculous. I've gone from paying 124 points for a squad of 6 Ogryns to 180. No, 144, sorry. I've gone paying off from 144 points squad of Ogryns to 180. That's ridiculous. That is stupid. Like, they're not worth 180 points. Are you telling me that 6 Ogryns are worth as much as a Lehman Russ tank commander with a battle cannon? No. No, of course they're not. Of course they're not worth that much. You know, they are so priced out of the fucking market now. Ogryns need to actually come down in points. Crazy enough, I would have said Ogryns, they were just on the level of usable. 24 points, slab of meat, off you go. Nice one, son. But really, to make them competitive, they probably needed to come down to like 22 points. Just a tiny decrease. Tiny decrease. But it would have just tipped them over the edge. If you really wanted to make them an auto-include, you make them 20 points. And that's, you know, it's weird. It's weird. I don't get it. So I feel like there are some misprints in this book. I genuinely do. As it stands, it is a sad day for my Ogryns. It is a sad day. I mean, I'm not sure how I'm going to fit them in now. But overall, I think Guard did very nicely out of chapter 3. Don't want you to think that, you know, because Ogryns got nerfed, that Guard is down the shitter. No, I just have a soft spot for the big lovable brutes. So and I built up a load of converted some. So it's a shame to see them go down the toilet, to be honest. 6 points. Wow, it's a 25% point increase. That's just madness. So it is sad to see that. But it's not the end of the world. You know, it's not the end of the world. The rest of if Ogryns must suffer so that Guard will prevail, then I will accept that. I won't be happy about it, but I'll accept it. So there you go, guys. They're the big winners and losers. Let me know if there's anything that I've missed majorly. Overall, I think Guard are in a good place. I think rather than nerfing us, we've just shifted things around a little bit. Like mortars will probably still be used because they're still pretty cheap. But I definitely think we're going to see the rise of a cheap Guard super heavy. I definitely think we could see the rise of just basic bitch Lehman Russ spam. I really think we could see that. I mean, if you take your basic Lehman Russ, give it a battle cannon and a heavy bolter, and then you take 9 of them, you're looking at 1,233 points. That's pretty insane. That is pretty insane. I think you could definitely see going forward just mass Lehman Russ infantry lists. I mean, you could still take that 9 Lehman Russes, and you could still at 2,000 points easily fit in 150 infantry. I mean, that's like 600 points. Yeah. And your 3 company commanders. What else do you need? That's it. I've done that. 3 company commanders. You might need another troop choice in there somewhere. You need some troops. You have to upgrade. Oh yeah, you have to upgrade some of those Lehman Russes to tank commanders. But you're looking at 9 Lehman Russes and 100 plus infantry. You're looking at that. That's what you're looking at. Yeah, I think Lehman Russ spam's going to be a big thing. Because think about my competitive juices are flowing. This will be the list that I think we could possibly see really smashing it in the guard arena now. I think you could be seeing lots of screening infantry with 9 Lehman Russes with 3 Astropaths. Because, yes, Russes still get boned to hit modifiers, of course. But one of the big things is that they don't ignore cover, but then you have an Astropath nearby, and then everyone's ignoring cover within 18 inches. That's a pretty big deal. So yeah, I think Liam Russ spam could be back on the table, boys. I'm definitely excited to see what comes out of Tempest of Silence. Oh, mama. I'm definitely excited to see if they could become competitive. I think they could do, and I'm keeping my eye open because I love Silence. So, hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Let me know if I missed anything. Let me know how these changes affect your army. You know, you're going to be spamming them missile launchers because I'm going to be spamming them missile launchers. And you know, shall we all just take a moment, press F to pay respects to the Ogrins. You were, you know, a beautiful, shining star for a whole 6 months. You were a hidden gem. You were a semi-decent, fun, goofy unit. Now, sadly, with a 25% point increase, you are going to be taken round back by the Lord Commissar, and you're going to be executed for being too expensive. So let's all mourn the Ogren. Press F to pay respects to the Ogren. Trevor the Ogren, we will miss you. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and of course, I'll see you guys next time.